Hello there, my name is Peter Thomson. I'm delighted to welcome you to this video where we're going to talk about how you remove the fear of rejection and close any sale smoothly, easily, without any fear of embarrassment. Now, if we can do that in this short period together, then that's going to be a major benefit for both of us, isn't it? So let me give you my take on closing sales that I've picked up over 40 years in business, and being out there selling on the streets, selling by phone, selling face-to-face, selling to an audience, all sorts of different types of selling. One thing's for sure, I don't have all the answers. I've made a lot of mistakes in selling, and I've learned from those mistakes, hopefully all of them, maybe not all of them, but I do know that the day I stop learning is the day I stop earning, so I need to keep on increasing my skills. And what I have found out when it comes to closing, whether that's in writing and it's the CTA, the call to action, or on a telephone call, or stood in front of an audience, or face-to-face, or on a Zoom or Skype call, I know that confidence is paramount. As somebody once said to me, we have to live in a little village just south of arrogant, which is north of confident but south of cocky. So yes, we need to be absolutely sure that we can live up to the marketing promise and the sales promise that we've made, that the product or service we're supplying will do what we say it will do. It'll do what it says on the tin, as is often said. And I've found, and I made a load of notes for us here, that the real difference between the tellers and the sellers, in other words, the people who just tell you about their stuff and just tell you and go on and on and on, and those who actually bring the sale to a smooth conclusion, which is good for both parties. The difference between the sellers and the tellers is the sellers have the ability to close the sale. Now, here's a hard line before we get to the softer stuff. I've found in life that it's unlikely that anyone will learn how to close at the right timing unless at some stage in their life they've closed a little bit too soon and a little bit too hard, and they've just had a little slap, verbal slap, from the other person, that they just realized that it was too soon or it was too hard. And when we've found that edge, that's when we know, that's when we've learned how to close a sale properly. You see, people say to me, Peter, well, when do I close the sale? I say, well, you've got an old friend that comes with you on every sales call, and it's this. It's your tummy, it's your stomach, it's your other brain, and it is just a genius at knowing when to do what you need to do. It's our instincts. So, if you feel it's the right time to close, it probably is. And if you close appropriately, having opened, having worked with an agenda, having spent the majority of time gathering information about what it is the client, customer or patient wants from you, having spent a brief amount of time, because that's where the selling has taken place, by the way, a brief amount of time in presenting or demonstrating your solution, if you've adjusted the client or customer or patient's understanding to what it was you said, and everything is running smoothly, and you feel it's the time to say, gently, we don't need to push, we don't need to convince, we need to be convincing, to say, would you like to go ahead? I mean, it is as simple as that. Would you like to go ahead? Now, if you want to get a little bit techniquey about it, you could say, do you think that Tuesday would soon enough to start? Or something like that. But we don't need too many techniques. What we need is the words that make it a smooth conclusion. You see, I've noticed that when we get to this closing stage, there is a degree of pressure for both parties. And funnily enough, with a bit of active listening, I've also noticed, not true for everybody by the way, but I've noticed that some people who are even visually based in their language turn to kinesthetic language, feel and touch and emotional type stuff, when it gets to the closing stage. So listen out carefully. Now, this is harvest time. We've planted the seeds, we've watered them, the harvest, the crop has come up, and now is the time for us to gather that crop in. And if we don't, we've done all the hard work and we've prepared the customer or client or patient's mind to buy, and then we've walked away without getting the benefit for both them or us. And somebody else will come along and say, oh, I understand you're looking for so-and-so, can I supply that for you? And the customer, client or patient says, yes, not a good idea. When it comes to closing, 90%, in my opinion, roughly, is mental, and 10% is skill or words. It's how we feel about the whole thing. You may have heard me say before that I think what we need to do in order to be successful in business is to learn how to sell. We need to understand the basic process: open, gather, present, adjust, conclude and follow. We need to understand those things. We understand about language patterns and how to communicate effectively. But then we have to stop selling and allow people to buy from us. And that is so simple for me to say. And yet when we get that at a visceral level, everything changes. Everything changes. Suddenly we relax. Suddenly we realise the positioning is here. Nobody's there or there. The positioning is there. It's on the level. That's the way that it worked beautifully for us. Now, what we don't want to do is we want to talk ourselves into the sale and then talk ourselves out of the sale. And I've had people do that to me over time. Instead of focusing on the key matching benefits of what it is that I'm looking for, which they'll have picked up in the gathering stage, if they bother to do the gathering stage, they've waffled on about all sorts of stuff that I'm really not interested in. So let's not make that mistake. People don't want to be hard sold, but they do want to be helped to buy. Now, what words are we going to use? Soft words, easy words. Here's where I think is the combination. Hard words, soft tones. So if you're going to say to somebody, just sign there, which is fairly hard, just sign there, you wouldn't say, just sign there, you'd say, just sign there. If you're going to say, do you think it might be a good idea to go ahead, which is very soft, you could say that with slightly harder tones. Do you think it might be a good idea to go ahead? See what I mean? You get this balance of hard words, soft tones, soft words and hard tones. Let me just see if I've covered everything that I wanted for you today. I think so, apart from one key idea. Work out for yourself the words that you are going to use in order to bring the sale to a smooth conclusion. Would you like to go ahead? Do you think now is the right time to go ahead? Have I covered everything you need to know before we go ahead? However you're going to say it, work out the words that resonate with you. Get the timing right, because sometimes you could have said very little and you know it's the right time to close the sale. For example, you'll have seen in a piece of direct mail, handwritten along the side of a part of the mail, supposedly handwritten, it's probably printed, but you know what I mean. And it says, if you're ready to order, go to the order form now. That type of thing. The reason that we do that type of insert is because there will be, for some people, they've read the headline or the opening and they've almost made the decision to buy. They've heard a few other bits and pieces and gone, yeah, this is for me, and they're ready to order. Well, if you feel that from a client, don't spend another half an hour pushing them away. Ask for the order at that point. So work out the words you're going to use and then practice. I heard a fantastic expression years ago, which is just so true. Amateurs practice till they get it right. Professionals practice till they can't get it wrong. And isn't that so true? Professionals practice till they can't get it wrong. So let's be professional. Let's make sure we know the words. Let's make sure that we've got our attitude absolutely right about this, that we're out there to help our client, our customer or our patient get the outcome that they want, whether that's solving a problem for them or capitalizing on an opportunity. Let's have our attitude on that focused, helping. And then smoothly through the process that I've explained for you, bring people to the point where you're able to say to them, would you like to go ahead? It looks to me as though it's time to go ahead. Would that be right for you? Stuff pinging away in the background. It looks to me as though it's time for you to go ahead. Would you agree? However, it's comfortable for you eventually. There's no problem with it being uncomfortable at the start. Now, if you've got any comments about this, I love the idea of closing, and I've heard people say these days, you don't need to close. Oh, yes, you do. However gently you do it, somebody needs to bring the sale to a conclusion. Next time we'll talk about the following, but in the meantime, if you've got any comments, put them down there. We can start a dialogue conversation about this, and I continue to wish you every success in all your selling and other adventures in life as you continue to have freedom from anything that may have held you back, and freedom to be, do and have whatever you set your heart and mind upon. Always in that order, be it, do it and have it. And I'll see you on the next one. Got any questions, come back to me. See you soon. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching. Subscribe and hit the notification bell for more videos. Then click to watch the next video. Remember to visit our website at peterthomson.com and download your free copy of my latest book, How to Write Your Business Book in 5 days or less. Until next time, every success.